evening. It's a lovely evening out here. It's a little cold, minus 15, but we'll get used to that. We haven't been cold weather for quite some time. I'm just off to do evening chores. I see Ben's out having shenanigans with the rams. I don't know what that's all about. But I also noticed their round bales all tore up over here. I'm thinking the cats have probably been jumping on the bale, trying to have adventures. What are you boys doing to our dog? Eh? Don't give me that headbutt nonsense. I'm thinking these two fellas probably need to get their wiggles out here. So we got 27 eggs today, still below average, but it's been more than what we've had the last few days. We've been right around that 23, 24. Previous to that though, we were up as high as 34. I think one day we even hit 36. But with the weather getting really, really cold, it's not abnormal for the chickens to stop laying as much. They're obviously trying to conserve some energy to generate some heat and get through this cold spell. Needless to say, I'm not going to hold that against them because I don't want to be too productive either when it's cold like this. But the best thing we can do is give them some high energy feed, give them a nice draft-free place to get out of the wind, and make sure they got lots of fresh water. So one cool thing about the shop here is while we were building our house, we actually lived in here, right up there on the mezzanine. And we built like a little kitchen area in here, which is just a disaster right now. Don't judge us. But we've got a washing machine rigged up in there. So it's a really good place to wash, coveralls and things like that. And I did wash my big coat here because as I was aerating the deep litter in the chicken house, there's a certain amount of off-gassing from that process that sticks. It's very sticky chicken odor, right? And it got into my coat, and just no matter where I went with my chore coat on, it was like, whew, do you smell something? Yeah, so I had to run it through the washer, but the dryer doesn't work in here. So I'm just gonna hang it up on the tractor, and we got the overhead fan going. That'll circulate enough air. This thing will be nice and dry by morning. Well, I've heard it said in business, in order to hit it big, you have to create a problem and then find a solution for that problem. Our problem is sheep that get into the feeder that's intended to keep them out, and they get trapped in there. So a couple days ago we had one, I'm pretty sure got trapped in the feeder, busted its leg. I'm pretty confident that's what happened. Now I thought I had it all fixed and tied up. Today I see we had one in there again. It got out, but it's something I'm really gonna have to pay close attention to because we can't afford to have sheep get in there and getting injured. Speaking of problems and solutions, these pigs, T-minus 6 days, they're going down the road to the butcher shop, and I won't have to pack water anymore. There's a theory with how this is supposed to work. We've got a 6-foot gate on the pig pen here. Should be able to open that right up. The horse trailer door will come to the other side. Chuck the ramp right here in the middle. And hopefully those piggies, don't get out now, hopefully those piggies walk right up and into the trailer. So that's evening chores done. I am chilled to the bone. I actually spent most of the day outside today, and yeah, very, very frosty. I'm gonna need a hot bath tonight, I think. Anyways, while I was outside today, I got talking to a coworker, Dave. I think he's a religious viewer. I don't know if he watches every day, but he watches quite a bit, I think. And he was asking me, he said, why Kirk Fell Farm? Like, what's the logic behind the name? And it dawned on me that I haven't really explained this in a very long time. Well, here's the story. My wife and I moved to the Beaver Lodge area in, I think it was 2009. My wife's originally from this area. I was not. And we kind of house hopped around Beaver Lodge for quite a few years, actually. And at that time, I was pretty big into photography, and I would tour around the countryside, try and take pictures of abandoned cars, abandoned homesteads, and yeah, just have an overall good time, country touring, getting to know the area. And I traveled up Township Road 730, and I came across the broadside view of Hay Lake, which is the lake just to the south of the farm here. And I thought, boy, this sure is a nice area. I wonder what it would be like to live here. I bet you the folks that live here, they're just living their best life. So now fast forward to 2017, we came across this place. It was listed, and we're like, boom, we got to go after it. So after months of back and forth, buyer and seller back and forth, and real estate agents and everything, we were able to secure this farm, it looks to the south over Hay Lake. It looks over the narrow side of the lake, and we have an absolutely gorgeous view. It's up on a hill and it looks down over the lake, and it was just really reminiscent for me of some land back home in England. For those of you that know, back home is England for me. There's a mountain in the Pennine Range called Kirk Fell, and it looks down over a lake called Wastwater. Wastwater is the deepest lake in England, I believe in England. It's definitely the deepest in the Lake District, and it's 80 meters deep, which is like 260 feet or something like that is what that works out to be. Anyways, regardless of how deep the lake is, not relevant to the story. Carmen and I, we decide this is it. We're gonna embark on this homesteading journey, and here we go. So we moved our holiday trailer out here, and we had this little gnome, and I called him Bernard because I was out here with the camper every day by myself. We had no internet. We eventually got power and stuff, but it was mostly just reading books, me talking to myself. We did buy some sheep originally. And so there's a lot of character building and eccentricities that developed over that first summer while we built the shop, and then subsequently the house and everything. Anyways, the gnome. So Bernard the gnome. We called him Bernard the transient gnome. He came from, I think it was a golf competition at a family reunion. And he made all kinds of travels all over the farm. I took him to work. People bored him for the weekend and took him on camping trips. I always come back here. And so why is that relevant? Well, so at the bottom of Wastwater, the lake I was talking about a moment ago, there are like gnome villages all around. The divers have placed around. And I just thought that was a really cool, like, accidental comparison that totally linked this place and this significant location back home, where obviously my heart really does belong. I have a lot of really great memories from the Lake District, and I just thought it'd be really cool to link, the two things together. So back at that time, we didn't have I had a YouTube channel, but on my YouTube channel, I just had some workout videos for some charity work that I was doing that really only half a dozen people had subscribed to. It wasn't really going anywhere. It was for a specific purpose only. But we had a Facebook page, and so lots of the photography of the animals and stuff would go on there, what we're doing, updates for family, because again, we didn't have internet for the longest time, but I was able to use my mobile data and upload some pictures and tell a little bit of a story, and people would be engaged in what we're doing, and at least we're able to kind of keep some connection with the outside world that way. Now, if we fast forward to, I think it was March of 2020, half the world or more went into some form of a lockdown, and the ability to have, face-to-face conversations and family dinners and all this stuff was pretty much nipped in the bud. It wasn't life just changed instantly overnight. So that was a really cool time to refire up the old YouTube channel and just kind of keep everybody up to date on at least what we're doing and maintain some, level of sanity ourselves. So with that came a lot of other folks that were interested in what we're doing that we've never met before. They're not close friends or family or anything like that. But it was like, okay, we're going on a journey, and other people want to come along. That's fantastic. So if you're new to the channel, you haven't watched for any length of time, and you're like, well, what are these guys all about? Part of this is tutorial, right? Through teaching, I'm learning. Part of it is just shared experience. These are the successes and the challenges we're facing, what's going on in your homestead. And part of it is obviously the family side of it. And that's the biggest side of it, is the family side of it, being able to at least show family members what's happening here in our lives that we're maybe not able to visit as frequently as we'd like to, or as frequently as we usually would have. Anyways, that's just a brief little snippet of the history of Kirk Fell Farm, what we're all about. If you want to learn more about it, go down below, click subscribe. You can go back, watch tons and tons of videos. I think we have like 300 videos on board on YouTube right now. And yeah, everything from our complete and utter fails to some really big wins to some just really cute moments. So, but for now, there's a cup of tea sitting on our kitchen counter right now that I left to come out and do chores. I'm pretty sure it's getting ice cold. I'm gonna have to pop it in the microwave and get warmed up. So I'll let you go for now. I hope you have a fantastic evening. We'll see you tomorrow. you.